Welcome to EDN 113, Living and Learning with Technology. Today we're going to discuss topic 2, digital citizenship, visible thinking routines. There's your online reading resources as well as your textbook readings that needs to be completed for this week. And then the focus of this session. The focus of this session is we will spend some time looking at our own digital footprints. We will learn what it means to use the internet safely, responsibly and ethically, and what steps should I take to evaluate the content of the information that is found on the internet. The technology we're going to use is some collaborative platforms for brainstorming, and then how to organize content I have searched up on the internet. Part 1. Let's stand still and try to understand our digital footprint and the impact it can have. What is digital footprint? A digital footprint is left every time you use the internet. This can be when you are posting on social media, buying online, using search engines like Google, using different online digital technology or apps, and opening and closing accounts. Now for the first activity, we're going to try and find out what our own digital footprint look like. Now on the digital footprint worksheet that you'll find on the LMS, I would like for you to list all the websites you've visited in the past 24 hours, including any online content you've posted, even include the LMS. Using this newfound inquiry skills, I want you to search on the internet for information about yourself. That's part 1 of the activity. Part 2 of the activity is a reflection. I want you to look at the following questions and then answer them and post your reflection to Jamboard. There's a page set up for activity 1B. So I would like for you to look at what have you found out about yourself on the internet. If you have found out something about yourself, is that representation of who you are accurate and complete? Would your future employer find this representation acceptable? The second thing I would like you to ask yourself is there any online content about you or posted about you by others that needs to be deleted? And lastly, do you need to change the privacy settings for any of your social media accounts or any of your accounts? Part 2. Safe, responsible and ethical use of the internet. I've divided you in groups, and this is most probably also the groups that you're going to be in for your task 2 assignment that we are going to discuss later on in the week. So bear in mind, try to connect with the people that you're working that's in these current groups, because you might work with them for the foreseeable future. Safe, responsible and ethical use of the internet. Now to cover this topic, we're going to get you to do the work. We're going to use the Generate, Sort, Connect and Elaborate thinking routine. And in your groups, if you click on the link, it'll take you to a website where this thinking routine is explained in broad terms. You can access your group GSC page on Stormboard. Each group's got their own page, following the link as per topic 2 class Canvas post. Now Stormboard is a new collaborative tool that you haven't worked with yet. It's different from Jamboard in the sense that Stormboard, you can have different templates that you work with. It's more structured. So we're using Stormboard because we're going to have to not only post-its on it, we're also going to have to sort them out into columns before we can go on to make the connections and elaborate on it. So I thought of introducing you to this because it's an easy way. It's just another collaborative tool, and we are trying to work collaboratively with our students in the classroom. So the more tools we have access to or know about, the better we will be prepared to do that once we get into the classrooms. So what you are going to do is individually you're going to generate ideas on what it means to be safe, responsible and ethical in your use of the internet. And each sticky note should only have one idea on it. And please put your name at the bottom of the sticky note and then post it to your Stormboard page. Now this is only the first part of the activity. You will find that part 2 is where the group work comes in. For part 2, you need to sign up for a Coggle account. You can do that by typing in Coggle It or click on the link. And this is the graphic organizer. Now, the use of graphic organizers is a visualization of your ideas and doing this online, giving students the opportunity to actually share their ideas and then put it onto the same graphic organizer is yet again a different way of presenting collaborative work. We've got one person per group was responsible for creating the graphic organizer and then sharing it. But everybody needs a Google account. Sort the post-its into the different columns on your Stormboard so you have safe, responsible and ethical use separated. And then once you've had access to your organizer, you can then start making connections between and sort the post-it notes you have on your page. You can elaborate on your ideas and afterwards take a screenshot of the graphic organizer and post it to activity 2 on the Jamboard page. And this is just a walkthrough to show you this is what Stormboard page is going to look like. Ideas about safety and responsibility and ethical use will be separated into 3 columns, and then from there on the next step will be to set up a Coggle account, and this is more or less what you can do with Coggle. You have your main idea, and then you've got your 3 branches and all the different ideas that comes up the branches, and the elaborations will follow off from them. Okay, this is again a reflection. So how does ICT facilitate meaningful learning in this context? First question that you need to ask yourself: how does ICT facilitate meaningful learning when using digital footprints as a visual thinking tool to teach internet safe? And secondly, how does ICT facilitate meaningful learning in the context of using graphic organizers as visible thinking tools? And then you could go ahead and ask yourself, okay, if you were the teacher, for which age group would using the actual digital footprint be the better tool to use, and for which age group would the graphic organizers be the better visual thinking tool to use? Now, part 3, evaluating internet content. Look at the picture. Ask yourself, is everything you see on the picture true? And this is how we will evaluate whether it is or not. When we evaluate the internet content, we use the CRAB test. Now, the CRAB test is an acronym for currency, reliability, authority, and purpose or point of view. Currency is how recent is the information, when was it last updated, is there a date listed on the page, is the information recent enough to be helpful or relevant for the topic or the use that you want to use it for. Reliability, is the information fact or opinion based? Are there cited sources? What are they? What's the bias? And how can you tell? Authority, who's the author? Is the author knowledgeable or an expert? What are the author's credentials? Is it experience? Is it education? Is it affiliation? Who is the site sponsor? Are they reputable? How can you tell? And lastly, the purpose or the point of view. What is the website's purpose for existing? Is there advertising? What is the site trying to sell you? Who is the audience for the information? And what can the URL or the domain tell you about the site? So these are the questions you're going to ask yourself when you start looking at evaluating the content on the internet. And we are going to use the CRAB test when we are doing our weekly assessment activity. Okay, part 4, statutory educational license. The educational license is managed by the Copyright Agency. It allows Australian teachers to copy and share text, images and print music from any source or format without the copyright clearance if, first of all, it is for educational use only, and secondly, if the person works for an educational institute that is covered by payment arrangement with the Copyright Agency. Now, the next couple of slides is actually just describing you a guide that you can follow if you need to make hard copies of work and digital copies of work. However, having said that, this does not cover you this covers only when you are making copies of works. It does not cover you for the use of other people's works, and it doesn't tell you how to work within those boundaries. So to help you, I need you to understand that if you are using lesson plans, worksheet, or any images that, even if you pay for it, from sites like ST, Pinterest, Teachers for Teachers, they are licensed so that you can use them mostly for yourself, in your classroom, or within your school community. They are not licensed for online use or online publicity. Unless you are working within an Edmodo environment where it's restricted to only your class members, you are not allowed to put these online on any website, because people can have access to them and download them from your website without paying them for them. So please make sure that you do not use these and do not post them on any of your assignments. The other thing that you need to know is that when you're asked to create lesson plans or create activities, you are assessed on your ability to do so, and then by uploading a pre-existing worksheet that somebody else made from one of these sites will not achieve the purpose. And then lastly, if you may use these worksheets or lesson plans or from other places as references, because you use them as inspiration for your own activities, but you still need to create your own activities. Now, Creative Commons and the copyright of images, I have made a separate slide show for you that all the slides are fairly explicit, so you will be able to find that on the shared Google Drive to show you what Creative Commons are, and then how to look for images on the internet that are not covered under copyright protection. So Creative Commons is basically a licensing act that enables you to share your works with other people, or find works that are being shared with other people that gives you access to them and allows you to copy, change, or use their work online. However, there are 6 different types of Creative Commons licenses, and some are very restrictive and others are very lenient. So you will find them all on the Creative Commons slides in the Google Drive. Now, we're getting close to the end of this session. Our last activity that we're going to do is our weekly assessment activity for topic 2, and this is due by Sunday this week at 9 p.m. And first of all, you have to open a Diigo account. A Diigo is a digital bookmarking tool. It's very useful, and you'll find that once you understand the use of it, you will continue using it throughout your whole uni career. Firstly, you need to find 3 resources on safe, responsible, and ethical use of the internet, and archive these resources on your Diigo account. Now, in Diigo, write a 50-word evaluation of each of these resources based on the CRAB test. That means you have to perform the CRAB test on each of these resources and then write your 50-word evaluation telling us what's the currency, what's the reliability, who is the author, and lastly, what's the purpose of the site. And once you've done that, you take a screenshot of each one of these sources or resources so that I can see both the resource and the evaluation and post them to the LMS class forum for topic 2. So you need to have at least 3 screenshots on each of your posts. Now this might be a little bit vague to some of you, so I've put together a few slides to just try and explain each step of this for you more clearly. And I also have a walkthrough as to how to archive Diigo resources and how to give you a link to that in a moment. Okay, create a Diigo account. You will find that there is some links that you can use if you want to find out more about Diigo and the use of Diigo. The next thing you need to do is search the internet to find your resources. Save these resources into your Diigo library. The easiest way to save a web page URL to your Diigo library is to install the toolbar extension on your browser. See Diigo help on how to do that. Next thing you need to do is you need to do the CRAB test. Apply the CRAB test evaluation to determine if you think the resource passed the CRAB test, yes or no. What is the CRAB test? You may read the following article to find out more, and then add a comment, a description on the routine in your Diigo library, expressing your thoughts about the quality of the resource. Would it pass the CRAB test? Yes or no, and why or why not? And people, it's fine if you find one that doesn't, because it also shows you that there are stuff out there that's not relevant, that's not good to use. So if you've got your 3 resources and one of them turns out to be it doesn't pass the CRAB test, as long as you can explain to me why it doesn't, that is perfect. Recording of evidence. Record your evidence for the activity on the LMS discussion forum topic 2. Example of the evidence. I need the URL to your Diigo account for the article, and I need a screen capture. So this is what you're going to put on your post: the URL to your article, your Diigo URL, the screen capture. How do I take a screenshot? I also made a step-by-step walkthrough for you about weekly assessment activity, and you will find that slideshow also on the shared Google Drive. And that brings us to the end of our weekly session. We will get together on Wednesday night at 7 for a talk about assignment 2A. Thank you very much.